In this video, I'm going to continue my journey to find the perfect YouTube studio camera, looking at the GoPro Hero5 Black. Here's the story. The GoPro Hero5 Black was released in 2016 and is marketed as an action sports camera. Back when we were permitted to freely leave our homes, I picked up my GoPro in 2017 while traveling Europe with my wife. It records up to 4K 30p video and 12 megapixel photos. It has voice control, which you'll probably never use, and is waterproof to 33 feet or 10 meters, which is completely irrelevant for YouTube studios, unless your studio is underwater. It features electronic image stabilization, which doesn't matter because it will be living on a tripod, and captures raw and wide dynamic range photos, which, once again, doesn't really matter for shooting video. So the GoPro Hero5 Black has a lot of features that are completely irrelevant for shooting in a YouTube studio. So why even test it out? Well, it's affordable and could possibly be a camera that is unfairly overlooked. After looking on Facebook Marketplace, I found it secondhand for only 180 Australian dollars. So let's take a look at some studio footage. And here's what 2.7K shooting in 24p looks like. Now I'm shooting in 24p instead of 25p because when I shoot in 25p at a 50 shutter, which is all I can select in this GoPro menu system, there were rolling lines on the Lumetric clock in the background. So to get rid of those distracting lines, I changed it to 24p. So that's why I'm recording in 24p. Now the field of view is set to linear in this mode, and that gives us a bit more of a tighter look. I'll now change it over to a wider view. And now we are at the widest view. And as I keep talking, you can see that my hands are moving, and as I'm moving, I'm making the camera shake. So one of the downfalls of using this camera setup is I've got it set up on a tripod on the table, and then any vibrations from the table translate through to the camera. So that's not a problem with the camera, that's more of a problem with my setup. I'll try my best not to be moving my hands too much. Otherwise I could just take my hands right off the table, but then it doesn't feel as natural. I think this feels a bit more natural. And now we're recording in 1080 24p, and we are on the narrowest field of view. So what do you think? Is this usable? Is this a better look in the studio? I realize with the GoPro, you don't want it to be too wide because then you get everything in shot, unless that's the look you're going for. If you're wanting to be focused a bit more in on your talent or yourself presenting to camera, then having the narrow field of view is more ideal. But I kind of like the linear look. It's a little bit wider, it's not so tight in, and also you can use the linear view on the 2.7K resolution. So you can get a little bit more res than 1080 with the GoPro Hero5 Black. So if you can do that, I may as well take it. And here's an example of 4K 24p set to wide, because that's the only field of view you can select with 4K. So you can see a lot of the image, lots of it. I don't want to be able to see this light stand here, so that's a bit annoying. I don't want to be able to see stuff over there, so that's a little bit annoying as well. So wide doesn't really suit my shooting style in this shooting space, so we're not going to go with 4K, we're going to go back to 2.7K. Just for a point of reference, the lighting I'm using for this video is the Aperture 120D with the Aperture Lantern modifier. And I'm also using a Shure SM7B microphone running into my Sound Devices Mix Pre 3 Mark II, recording in 32-bit float. And also to power the GoPro while I'm recording, I've got it plugged straight into the wall using the USB-C connection. And to monitor myself, I've also got an external monitor hooked up using the micro HDMI output. And I've also got the app as well. So I don't really need the external monitor, but it is a little bit bigger and easier to see my image than the smartphone, but I do have a live view from the smartphone as well. So one of the things I like about this setup is you can use the GoPro app to control your GoPro. You can go through all the settings, you can start recording, you can stop recording. It's really handy and is a great feature to make your shooting experience just a little bit smoother. So overall, why would you pick the GoPro Hero5 Black as your perfect YouTube studio camera? Well, you wouldn't. It isn't the perfect YouTube studio camera in my opinion. Overall, I am actually kind of surprised how good the footage does look in this studio environment. However, I do know that there are other options out there that will look better and have all the features that I'd want in a perfect YouTube studio camera. Unfortunately, the GoPro Hero 5 Black, as good as it is, isn't the perfect YouTube studio camera. It is an action sports camera, so we'll let it continue to be that. So that's it for this video. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel for more videos on content creation in the future.